Hey YouTube, JW. Another edition of Retro Knives for you guys here today. Today we're looking at a real old school classic, the Colonial Forest Master. One of the first videos that I did in this whole Retro Knife series was on the other knife from this era that is probably, in the era of the camp knife, 1950s, 60s, but really from the late 40s after World War II into the 1970s. You'll find these knives. You notice this is the Camp King with a K. In German, there's no everything that would be a C in German is a K. Also have a diamond edge, which is another Imperial. These are both Imperial knives. The knife I'm going to focus on this one is the Forest Master, and you'll notice it has red handle scales, and that's why I picked this up. I've seen many of these, ones in better condition on eBay, but not ones with red handle scales. I've never seen another one with these red celluloid scales. That's why I picked this one up. And I'm thinking that it's pretty old by the fact of that blade like that. The ones I've ever seen had a plain straight blade like this. This one has those serrations. I think this one is probably, I would say, 1950s. I've cleaned it up. It was actually pretty rough. Overall, the handles are in real good shape, but I think it just had been sitting for a long time. And Colonial goes all the way back to 1926 is when the company started. And then once World War II hit, they made the Mark I sheath knives, giant survival kit, folding knives for the U.S. Navy. They made high-grade limited edition knives for other brands. Some of them had bone and stag handles. During the next 70 years, they had many products, brand names. The Forest Master was one of the original brand names of Colonial, and they did have some automatic knives I did a video on previously. The Sure Snap series automatic knives, which are very highly collectible. You can pick these up, not necessarily with the red scales, but just a regular black scaled version of the Forest Master, readily on eBay. In the 80s and 90s, they made knives for Smith & Wesson, Colt, Winchester. Knives like the John Russell Barlow Riders of the Silver Screen, if you remember that series of knives. And the Sharp brand, that was a Kmart brand. In 1998, Colonial Knife Company ceased operations. In 2001, it was reorganized. Today, Colonial Knife produces a range of different types of styles for both domestic and overseas. So what you got here in your classic camp style knife, you got your can opener, bottle opener, your main blade, and then like an awl type of blade, a scraper. Now let's see how that compares to these here. And a lot of these, from what I hear, is there was also a 3-blade version. You see there's a little bit of difference here in the Imperial diamond edge. As far as the blades or options. And there you go. This one is exactly the same as the diamond edge. So it's a little bit different. This one has more of a different type of awl to it there than the Forest Master. I'm going to say this one here is probably older than both of these two. But, you know, back in the era of when men carried knives in their pockets, or boys were Boy Scouts, and you know, that golden age of America, this was one of the main, if not the name brand, the basic general style, what you would see in the classic American camper knife. There's not really a whole lot more I can say about it, other than they were good knives. And I just could have got 100 of these by now, but I had already done a Camp King video. Let's see, this one is definitely wider, thicker knife than either one of these two. I think overall this is probably a better knife than both of those. So if you're interested in one of these, just head to eBay. You can find them readily, and you've got yourself a classic piece of American knife in American history. So I appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned for the next one.